This is now the second day in a row where if you were to use my game plan, which is released a day before the stock market opens, you would have been buying call options at the exact lows back to back if you went with the oversold zone to buy call options. In terms of the oversold zone, where I told you to buy call options on the SPY, it was at 550 to 549. The exact lows were at 549.68. I made it very clear in last night's video, once the SPY retest that oversold support zone along with the daily chart pattern that I was seeing, that it was likely going to bounce first, testing that 550 level. I did end up buying SPY call options twice for back-to-back wins towards the exact lows, going 2 for 2, 100% success rate in terms of my trading session. G-Roar absolutely crushed it as well. In terms of the only other level that I gave you to buy call options, it was the break and retest strategy. I had stated that once the SPY goes to 556.50 for the break and retest to test this extended hours levels right here, it's likely going to bounce at 556.50. Surely enough, it ended up bottoming and forming support during the extended hours trading session, where if you like, you can be trading futures during this time if you're seeing confirmations at the levels. And it had a very nice move from 556.50 all the way to 560. That break and retest strategy ended up working out once again. And then in terms of during normal trading hours, if you were to go with the overall level, it did end up dropping first all the way down to 554. But you guys are well aware, we don't use stop losses. We put in our entire position size as our max risk per trade. So as long as you held the trade and you set profit stops when you're green, you would have had a phenomenal win despite the SPY dropping 3 points against that overall level, because it ended up recovering and going all the way to 561. The levels for calls worked out absolutely perfectly. In terms of the levels for puts, it was focused on 563 and 566 to 567. But I did state, if you are seeing a gap down, it's likely going to be a bearish trend day. And if you are seeing the previous closing price react as a resistance, as you can see right here, red, green, red, clear resistance for 90 minutes, bearish wicks, bearish patterns, multiple, 30-minute resistance candlesticks, right? You can be buying put options. If you implemented my game plan that I created, you should have had a phenomenal green day. Now, I'm going to be going over all of the massive wins that we ended up having towards the end of this video. First things first, we're going to be getting into the newly updated price action analysis. We are planning to finish this week very, very strong within the green. So in terms of the daily chart pattern, one of the main plays that I'm seeing would be to buy call options on the SPY if we start to drop slightly below the previous day lows. So in terms of the game plan, it's mainly going to be targeting call options towards the key oversold levels that I have for you. And then in terms of the puts, it's mainly going to be towards the overbought resistance levels that I have towards you. In terms of trading in the middle, it's going to be a bit more difficult in a sense in terms of the market open if we're opening up towards the middle. This is what I want you to understand. First things first, in terms of the game plan for call options, these are going to be the best levels possible to be buying call options. And then towards the end, I'm going to give you the price ladder and I'm going to be recapping the trades that we ended up making on the day. So in terms of the best level for call options to be buying calls heading into tomorrow, it would be a crack below the previous day lows. So in terms of the previous day lows, we are currently sitting at 549.68. In terms of the overall range, this would be the range where I would be very interested in targeting call options heading into tomorrow, right? So in terms of the overall range, going back throughout the daily chart, these would be the main levels of interest if we're going below 550. For me, it would be towards 549 to 547. It's going to be a 2-point range. So in between that 2-point range, if I am seeing some sort of bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmation, some sort of bullish, pattern on the 30-minute chart, some sort of bullish 30-minute trend reversal 30-minute candlestick confirmation, in between that range, or even slightly under the range, or let's say it's bottoming at that range and then we're getting the confirmation slightly above that range into the low 550, then I'd be willing to buy call options based off the daily chart pattern. If we are headed slightly under the previous day lows, it should be a phenomenal opportunity to buy call options. Now, if we are dropping under 547, right, that would be the true best level possible, 547. If we're dropping under that, there's going to be a break of trend, which I think is not going to happen, but it doesn't matter in a sense what it is that I'm thinking. What matters is confirming what you think and reacting accordingly to both ways. In terms of a break of trend, I don't think it's going to happen. But if we go under 547, the next level to be buying call options and the next level we drop to would be 543 to 544 range. Just keep in mind, based off of what I'm seeing, the best zone for calls is going to be slightly under previous day lows in 547. I'm not the type of person to nickel and dime things. If I get the right confirmations at the levels, slightly below the levels, or I'm slightly above the levels, or let's say we're bottoming out the zone and there's no confirmation, I decided to not take the play. If we're getting a confirmation at a slightly higher level, then I'm more than willing to take a play because it's already working in the zone. All things to keep in mind with the levels, right? At the end of the day, I'm going to be the only one who gives you the best levels possible to be trading at. If you've been using my levels, you should have been printing money at the speed of light. You think it's by accident that in terms of the only two trades that I made today were towards the exact lows? I made it very, very clear. The best oversold buy zone to buy SPY call options was literally at 550. It's working literally like magic. So with that being said, that is the best game plan I have for call options. Based off of the daily chart, that is the number one best trade idea. I mean, in a sense, you could even consider auto buying call options in between that overall range towards that 547 to 548 mid range, right? But that's the best zone and that's the best game plan I have for you for call options. I explained to you what happens if there's a break of trend and where we go to, and then where the next level as well would be to buy call options. And if there was a break of trend, I really wouldn't be interested in buying put options that low. So I would just look to buy calls towards the next oversold level, which likely won't hit tomorrow at 544. In terms of trading in this market, you must be aware of what is likely going to happen. You must be aware of how to react accordingly, of how to confirm what it is that you're thinking and seeing. You must be aware of break of trends. There can be all the indications and all the confirmations of, what's going to happen. But if there's a break of trend, you must be aware of what to do when there's a break of trend. Should you sit out? Should you wait to trade the next level? Like I said, I've already made a decision if there were a break of trend, which I don't think there's going to be tomorrow. But I've already made a decision where I wouldn't be buying put options that low and I would just wait for the next level to buy calls. You must strategically prepare yourself as a trader to see all of the possibilities. So in terms of the next level above that, the next level above this, bottom towards the 547 to 550 zone, next level above that is going to be previous closing price, 551.50 to 552. This is what I want you to understand, man. Previous closing price is make or break. So this 552, you can see when it reacts as a support level, the SPY has a massive move to the upside. Based off of the daily chart pattern, we can potentially go under the previous day lows, spook a lot of the bulls out, and then it's going to have a major rally, very, very likely, if that occurs in that zone that I gave you. So one thing that I'm going to mention is the previous closing price is not considered the best level to be buying call options. So here's one thing you can do. If we go under the previous closing price and you're seeing confirmations to buy at the lower zone, buy at the lower zone. And then if we're starting to uptrend back to 552.50 later into the day, after bottoming at that zone that I gave you, the oversold zone, once we start to go on a previous day lows, if it happens, then you can consider buying call options once again or adding to a position at 552.50 if you're seeing that react to support. That would be the easy play. The easy play is if we go to the oversold zone first, if you see confirmations, take the oversold zone. If you don't see confirmations, you can wait towards this 552 level. And if you see confirmations there, take the level. You just need to understand in terms of probabilities with what I'm seeing on the overall daily chart, if you were to just buy calls out the gate at 552, it's a good level in terms of the overall macro point of view on a potential day and where we can go, but it can potentially drop first to the oversold zone. So it's best when trading at this level to wait later into the day. Wait later into the day towards the middle, towards the end, when there's confirmations at the level. And ideally, a drop below the previous day lows, but if not, and we don't get that drop, then just wait for the confirmations to be forming later into the day. Because like I said, and I mentioned this with the same game plan that I gave you earlier into this week, it could potentially drop first. So you got to be a little bit careful. But even at that level with call options, it could still potentially bank. Make sure that you're putting in your entire max risk per trade and that you're holding these trades. Because in terms of this level, it was very clear to look for call options at the break and retest level at 556.50. During extended hours, it was a smooth ride up and it went to 560, worked out phenomenal. In terms of the normal trading hours session, like I said, it did end up dropping first. Once we went under 556.50, there was no spike during normal trading hours and we dropped all the way to 554.50. If you use a stop loss, you would have been stopped out and you would have missed out on massive gains. Look at this, went from 557 all the way to 559. Very, very nice move to the upside. Of course, it dropped first, but you have to hold the trades, and when they're green, you set profit stops, and then you move the profit stops up higher to ensure that you don't give back the bulk of your gains. Now, in terms of the next overall level, and this is what I want you to understand, above 552, once this reacts to support, and then in terms of buying calls at this level, the ideal scenario to buy calls at this level, like I said, is if we drop under the previous day lows first, or if just way later into the day, it's reacting as support. That would be the best situation in the easy play to be buying call options at the higher 552 level, right? So just understand, this is a make or break level. The trend is likely going to be bullish. Best way to play this level in terms of playing it safe would be to wait till later into the day or wait till we get previous day lows. And then once it reacts bullish, that's what I'd recommend on 552, which would be the second best level. The first best level for calls is in between that 547 to 549 overall range, right? Slightly under previous day lows, 1.5 ideally points, 1 to 2 points below previous day lows. Next level is 552. Now, above 552, where do we go? The next level above 552, as you're going to see, is right here. This is towards the upper middle, which is going to be at this level right here, as you can see, 556. If 556 reacts as a resistance level, we start to drop back down towards the 553.50 to 551.50 zone. If 556 reacts as a support level, we start to spike back up to the 559 to 560 range. In terms of levels for puts, one thing you should be aware of is this. This is an interesting level with this breakdown and retest level we have here. So there is a potential situation, like I said, in terms of what I'm seeing. If we go under previous day lows and we're just holding above that overall range, as long as we are holding above 547 heading into tomorrow, it is likely going to be a strong bullish trend day, especially if we crack under those previous day lows, a strong bullish closing trend day. Now, in terms of where we can potentially drop, this is an interesting breakdown and retest level that I wanted to bring awareness to, because like I said, I'm seeing a situation where we can drop under the previous day lows. So there should be a good opportunity for put options, especially if we're opening up higher like we currently are with this massive gap up first. It could be another situation where we look for put options towards the market open at higher resistance levels. So these would be the levels. You can see right here, we had all of this support. We had all of this support right here towards this 556 level. All the support at 556, when it reacts as support, it goes to about 559 to 560. When it reacts as a resistance, it's going to start to drop back down towards that 551 to potentially new previous day lows. So in terms of levels for puts, this is going to be my lowest level, and this is a breakdown and retest level, right? So 556. If you are seeing strong bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, right? Red, green, red, you're seeing resistance. Look at the previous closing price. This is a clear resistance. Look, previous closing price, this is support. This is bullish. It cracks below and then it retests. You see the retest, breakdown. This is a floor, breakdown, retest, resistance, new lower highs, red, green, red, new lower highs. It's gonna flush. If you're seeing these simple 30-minute candlestick patterns, I'm telling you, you use this. What I'm showing you is the strongest foundation. What I teach in the way I trade is very, very simple, especially once you experiment with it, gain experience, and apply yourself to it. You're gonna see it's very simple and it works, but you gotta be able to tune out all of the noise. I'm telling you, in terms of foundations, the daily chart and the 30-minute candlestick chart is what I found to be the best, along with these simple patterns that I'm teaching you at my levels. You got to be using these strategies at my overall levels. If you apply the information that I'm teaching you, you should be printing money at the speed of light, and your trading should be improving drastically. So with that being said, man, 556 is going to be the lowest level for puts. You need to be extremely strategic when potentially engaging in a lower level on puts, especially in a situation where we can potentially have a bullish trend day. Like I said, I'm overall bullish on the overall day. As long as we're holding above 547, I'm bullish, and I'm looking for calls at the oversold levels. And I explained to you how to use that, right? But you can keep an eye on an opportunity earlier into the day. If we're opening up at higher levels, these are the levels. 556 is the lowest level for put options, right? Because like I said, it can potentially drop back under towards previous day lows. So 556, and then the next level is going to be 559 to 560 zone. Next level is going to be 563. Next level is going to be 566 to 567. Those are all of the levels heading into tomorrow to look for put options. Now, I'm going to be very clear about this. That is mainly for the morning. That is mainly for the morning or during the middle of the day. If we have a massive sell-off, right, from one of those levels into the morning, massive drop, and we spike back up during the middle of the day only, then you could try to short the retest, buy puts if there's a bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmation. But at the end of the day, we're not doing that because what I want you to be aware of is it's going to try to have a strong bullish closing trend day as long as we are holding above 547, right? So we're not going to want to be doing put options later into the day. This is good in terms of it gapping up very, very strong right now. That's good because there's likely going to be an opportunity for puts first at one of the levels. And then instead of using one of the exact levels as well with the confirmations, like I said, you can wait for a nice drop first and then short the retest. But that idea expires during the middle of the day. So you see, the way this system overall works can become a little bit complex. You have to understand how to apply it with the information that I'm giving you. So that's the overall game plan. There really is 2 trade ideas for puts. The first idea is use one of the levels with the confirmations earlier into the day. The second idea is to wait for a drop, ideally towards one of those levels, and then short the retest. That idea expires during the middle of the day. And then in terms of the game plan for calls, like I said, man, previous day lows, 557 to 549 zone, look for the confirmation. Once 552 reacts to support later into the day, look to buy calls towards previous closing price to 552. That is the best game plan that I can give you. I'm telling you, man, if you use this game plan heading into tomorrow, you should be able to close out the week very, very strong within the green. But you have to apply yourself. You have to be patient with the trades. You have to set profit stops. If you're using stop losses, there's no hope for you, man. In terms of trading 0-day options, they're so fucking cheap. They're so low risk. You do not need a stop loss. If you're using stop losses on 0-day options, do not trade, man. Both of the levels worked. It's extremely hard at times to time trades exactly perfectly. The market has, many different shifts in environments in how it moves, right? You need to understand when you're buying contracts at 50 cents and they're going to 200 cents to 500 cents almost every single day, there's absolutely no fucking need to use a stop loss. These are very, very cheap, very, very low risk with the biggest percentage gains. The most we put in is our R multiple, right? Traders who use a stop loss, what do they lose? They lose their R multiple. 0-day option traders who do not use a stop loss, what do they lose? They lose their R multiple. What we put into the contracts is our max risk per trade, our R multiple. So the difference between us is when our trade expires worthless and goes to 0, we lose our R multiple. There is no stop loss. When it works out, we set profit stops. We add to winners to increase the wins. We leave runners, sell the runners deep in the money, move the profit stops up higher, get profit stop down the rest, don't get back the bulk of our gains. So that is the game plan. You let me know how you finish the week, very, very strong, being self-sufficient, using this game plan, heading into tomorrow. In terms of the trades, I'm going to quickly go over them, man, right? I'm telling you, if you apply all this curriculum where I recap the market, I give you the game plan, I go over the trades, you apply all this information that I'm giving you, you should start to realize that this is the best education you're going to find, especially from an overall technical view and thought process in creating the game plans and trading. You should be leveling up like fucking crazy if you apply yourself to this information. So, inside of Team Roar, let's go over the trades. So in terms of my trades, let's get into this, man. In terms of my trades, these were the trades that I ended up making. So I waited until later into the day to trade. In terms of my style of trading, I prefer to wait and I trade best during the power hour. In terms of trading at market open, I mainly trade during market open. If one of my best levels hit and there's a big gap up or a big gap down, a big overreaction during that pre-market trading session. So I ended up, buying 552 SPY calls at 167 cents at 1:14 p.m., right? So if you go to 552 SPY calls right here at 1:14 p.m., this is where I ended up getting in on these overall calls right here, right? So this is where I got in. And then as you can see, it wasn't the exact bottom. They quickly dropped to 89 cents. But we don't use stop losses. And then as you can see, the trade recovered and it went all the way to 300 cents. So from my entry, you could have made a 90% return at the speed of light. That was a phenomenal win that we ended up having. And in terms of this trade, I believed it was a good entry, but I said YOLO because I didn't think it was going to be the absolute best entry, but I wanted to get in. So in a sense, there was some FOMO to it where it could have potentially been the best entry possible. But the way I saw this in terms of me saying YOLO, because that's something I rarely say in terms of buy, those are the highest confidence setups. Most of my trades are buys. But the main reason why I said this is more of just like on a YOLO, you're going to want to size lighter. And also it could be a potential trade that doesn't work out. But the main reason why I took that is because I like the deal. I was looking at 552 calls, and in terms of the price, I like the price on them. And I was well aware as long as I hold the trade, it's likely going to work out. So I was willing to take it. But I wasn't expecting it to be like the best entry or the best overall setup, but I was expecting it to work. So I told myself, you know what, I'm just going to get in here. And, in terms of worst case scenario, I'll just buy another strike. And that's exactly what I did, man. So I bought another strike as well. So I had 2 strikes. The second strike is a lot better. This was a let's buy. Let's buy is a lot better than a let's YOLO. But, SPY 551 calls at 159 cents at 1:54 p.m., right? So like 40 minutes later, I bought a different strike, 551 calls. If you go to the 551 calls, you're going to see this is where I ended up getting in. So massive improvement, literally towards the exact lows right here. And then it had a small drop from 160 to 120, and then it went all the way to 400. So using last night's game plan, that's what I was able to accomplish, buying calls at that oversold zone, right? So in terms of last night's video, I explained to you why that was a zone, why I was interested in buying call options there, and I decided to wait for the most oversold, zone to trade. I mean, if you're literally just trading the best setups at the best levels with the best confirmations, then that's the best way in terms of trading, especially from a technical view. If you're not going to be dialed and locked in on your overall intuition and heart of cards on a play, then just apply yourselves to literally the best setups and the best fucking prices, right? But to have everything stacked in your favor, that's the most ideal. But in terms of this overall trade, man, so basically when I was buying those calls, this was the confirmation. This was the high confidence play. These 561 calls at 2 p.m. basically is when I got in. So I got in at the opening of this 30-minute candlestick right here. And the reason why I got in right before this 30-minute candlestick opened is because of the overall trend. The trend was showing that there was previous support right here. You see the previous support. This is previous support. The SPY had a crack under that previous support. Therefore, before it goes lower and lower and lower, eventually it might try to spike back up to that previous support to try to form some lower highs if the trend still remains bearish. So the point is, it's going to try to spike back to 552.50, and we were at the best zone to be buying call options at 550 to 549. I explained to you in terms of the daily chart pattern and daily point of view. So make sure you go and watch last night's video to get the full understanding of the trade. But in terms of the overall confirmation, we had a breakdown of support, and it looked like it wanted to retest. And then in terms of candlesticks, when you're seeing these wicks form in a situation like this, the SPY is going to try to retest the high of these wicks. It's going to try to do that when there's a reason for it to do that at key support, right? And then in terms of another pattern, we had 3 slanted 30-minute candlesticks in a row, this 90-minute pattern, which is a key confirmation for an overall reversal. Those are the confirmations that I used. If you want to understand the complete reason behind it, you have to go back and watch the game plan that I posted the night before, because it was backed by a daily chart foundation, right? So the reasoning behind the trades were literally game planned a day before, and then what I just broke down and showed you was the overall confirmations on the trade. So that was my overall trades, and then I did end up adding to the trade. So the trade I had high confidence in, I ended up averaging my cost down a little bit. I got in at 159, added at 153, and then I ended up selling at 225 cents for a very, very nice win, and then it went to 400 a contract. So I'm 2 for 2 on those overall trades. In terms of the trades that G-Roar ended up making, I'm going to be breaking those down here for you. Inside of Team Roar, you do gain access to our real-time zero-date options trading alerts. You do gain access to a real-time zero-date options trading alert system. As you can see at 9:44 a.m., we did end up buying 551 SPY puts for 62 cents a contract. So in terms of the market open trades, these are the best market open trades you're ever gonna see, especially in terms of zero-date options contracts, because that's what we specialize in and that's what we choose to trade and create systems with as of now. That's the number one focus. But you can see right here, if you go to the 551 puts at 9:44 a.m., this is where we got in right here, and the trade quickly went from 60 cents all the way to 120 cents a contract. You could have made 100% return on your first trade within the span of 12 minutes trading zero-date options, big enough for you to walk away and call it for the day. And if you choose to keep on trading, the most you risk is literally 25 to 50% of your gains. When you're green enough, which is one big win or 2 smaller wins, you risk 25 to 50% of your gains if you choose to keep on trading, not that you have to, right? So in terms of that first trade, this was a phenomenal win. And then as you can see, like I tell you all the time, we add to winners. Puts are up 17 cents. These are the option quote prices moving in real time. You don't even have to check the fucking option chains. As soon as you get the alert, we alert the quote price is moving in real fucking time, right? Puts are up 17 cents. What are we doing when we're up a smaller amount? We're adding to winners. Add, double the position size, right? Adding 50 more contracts at 71 cents, right? And then we're setting profit stops when we add to the winners. As you can see right here, 9:56 a.m. I'm showing you how the real-time zero-date options trading alert system works inside of our secured private organization that is backed by multimillionaires. As you can see right here, setting the profit stop, right? And then as you can see, selling the trade for a massive win, breaking down the trade in full fucking replay time. Right? That's the overall trade breakdown in terms of where we get in, where we add to the position, where we exit the position, right? These are the overall charts, right? So with that being said, in terms of the next trade on the day, 10:18 a.m. ended up buying SPY 563 calls for 60 cents a contract. If you go to 10:18 a.m. and you go to 563 SPY calls, you're going to see this is where we ended up getting in on this overall trade. So we got in right here, and then it had a small drop to 56 cents, and then it quickly spiked to 90 cents. As soon as it hit 90 cents, it started to drop. So the trade went up 50% within minutes, and you had plenty of time to get in at or below our entry. 5 minutes is more than enough. Always have your option chains open and ready. Now, with that being said, this is the importance of setting profit stops. Because when the market hits key critical levels, these contracts can sell right back off at the speed of light. But if you're setting your profit stop quickly, you get stopped out for profits and you get to keep the bulk of your gains. So that trade went up 50%. That is back-to-back wins. And then as you can see, adding into the winners, hurry up towards the 70-cent range. That is a phenomenal win where calls spike 30 cents a contract, right? In terms of the next trade, this was an L. 564 calls did not work out, which does not matter. Because before that, we already had 2 wins. The first win went up 100%. The second win went up 50% at the speed of fucking light, and we were adding to winners. Adding to winners is going to increase those percentage gains by double to fucking triple, right? So you're already green enough to call it for the day in terms of the system. So it does not matter if you have losing trades after this, because the most you risk is 25 to 50% of your gains. And we already had 2 massive wins, and adding to those wins as well in a row. So 564 SPY calls did not work out. When you're trading our system and you're trading zero-date option contracts, you're going to see this is the strongest foundation within the market where you do not need a low win rate, and we rarely ever have losses in a row. Rarely ever, man. So this was an L. That one did not work out, which is completely fine in terms of the system and how the day went. Completely fine. And then you can see right here, let's buy 551 SPY puts for 64 cents a contract at 10:42 a.m. So if you go to these overall puts right here, 551 puts, right? You go to 10:41 a.m. You're going to see this is where we ended up getting in. We got in on these puts right here towards the exact bottom at 64 cents. They dropped to 47 cents. We don't use stop losses. We hold the trades. If they expire worthless, go to zero. The most we lose is what we put in. If they work out, we set the profit stop, move the profit stop up higher, leave runners detached from our profit stops, sell them deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains to the market. If you have a 1,000% gain, that means you can have 100% losses in a row and still be profitable. This gives you a foundation where you can be successful trading with a 10% win rate. This is the best system and foundation in asset class to optimize for as a trader. So in terms of these contracts, as you can see, they quickly went from 60 cents to 140 cents a contract at the speed of light. You should have been stopped out once we had a big pullback right here. You should have been profit stopped out towards the 100 to 115 cent range. Those contracts did end up going all the way to 240 cents if you left runners. That is another phenomenal, massive fucking win, adding to the winners. How do we increase our wins? We increase our wins when we're down on a play by buying a second strike instead of adding to a loser. How do we increase our wins when we're up on a play? We add to winners. Adding to winners is going to increase the wins. Setting the profit stop is going to protect the new risk that we take on. Moving the profit stop up higher is going to ensure that we keep the bulk of our overall gains. So that trade worked out absolutely phenomenal. As you can see, quickly went to 100 cents, set the profit stops. This is a real-time system backed by multimillionaires. You will not find another system or another trader who is trading like this. We are the greatest to ever fucking do this. With that being said, ended up selling at 134 cents range. That is 3 for 4 on the overall day. Printing at the speed of light, making phenomenal gains with a 75% win rate. As a zero-date options trader, you should understand in terms of like a good minimum to opt for, you should be able to be profitable with a win rate as low as 30%. We have the highest win rate in the game. Not that we need it. That's because we're the best and we have the most experience behind this. But in terms of zero-date options, a 200% gain and then 2 losses at 100% each, you're at break even. You should be able to be profitable with a 33% win rate. And the reason why people aren't profitable with low win rates trading 0-day options is because they use stop losses and they size in too big. Those are the main reasons why they're not profitable with low win rates. They don't have proper risk management 101 and they use stop loss. We do the complete opposite. We don't use stop losses and we have proper risk management 101. Like I showed you, if you use my level on fucking calls, it dropped 3 fucking points first, but you know what? It also spiked 3 points after it ended up dropping, right? So that was an opportunity to buy a second strike. That was an opportunity to add to winners. You got to see the opportunities. When you detach that stop loss, you'll be able to fucking hold. In order to detach that stop loss, you need to put in your entire max risk per trade as your entire position size. If you listen to what I'm saying, your trading is going to improve drastically and you're going to be in a situation where you can actually hold your trades, especially if they drop first. You're going to see that you don't have to time trades perfectly and it's not going to matter if you're down first. You can buy a second strike as well and you can also add to winners when you time the trades right. Now, with that being said, that is 3 for 4 with the coffee break. So in terms of the next overall trade, at 3:28 p.m., these were the power hour trading YOLO sessions. Every single day during the power hour trading sessions, we tend to have a SPX extravaganza party. SPX is going to give you the biggest percentage gains within the market towards 3:30 to 4 p.m. You'll be making multiple 100% profit returns to 1,000% plus gains within minutes when the trades overall work out. So in terms of the trades during the overall YOLO session during power hour, like I said, if we're 3 for 4 on the day and you trade during power hour and you go red, you genuinely deserve to be red, because in terms of the system that we created, losing is a personal choice. If you're applying yourself to the game plans, losing should be a personal choice. You should be becoming a lot more self-sufficient and you should start to realize and open your mind up like, wow, these are actually the best levels in the market. And not only do we have the best levels in the market a day before the market opens, but we also have the best trades in the fucking market. There's a lot of people who say they're trading and everybody's trading. Some are just educating, but who's got the best trades? And I told you, we don't just have the best trades. We have the best trading alert system that can strategically make you money, that can strategically help you become self-sufficient. You'll be able to see our style of trading done in real fucking time. And it's going to start to click. You fuse with us. So 550 puts, 42 cents a contract, 3:28 p.m. Now, you go to 550 puts, 3:28 p.m. You're going to see this is where we ended up getting in. We got in right here, right? So in terms of the overall entry, 42 cents. So we got in towards the lows of this candle right here. And then the trade ended up quickly going for just a minute at 70 cents. 40 to 70 is a 75% increase. And then a minute later, it lost all of its gains. So what do I tell you? Set the profit stop. You cannot fuck around, especially during the power hour trading session. If you're in a trade and it goes up 100% a minute, and this can happen during power hour mainly, but if it happens, guess what? If the next minute goes against you, you give it all back. So set the fucking profit stop when you're up 15%. We don't want to hear no fucking bitching. And if you're broke, do not fucking trade. So with that being said, that was a phenomenal trade. If you set the profit stop, went up 75% at the speed of fucking light. If you can't afford to risk 40 cents to make 75 cents in the contract, then don't fucking trade. Now, in terms of the next trade, 5500 SPX puts for 105 cents a contract, 3:51 p.m. If you go to the SPX puts at 3:51 p.m., you're going to see right here, this is where we ended up getting in on the overall trade. This was one of those trades where it literally happened within seconds, man. So we got in towards the low of this candle, and then it quickly went to 165 cents a contract, right? It happened within seconds, man. Normally, when we trade during power hour, it doesn't just drop like that. It tends to keep on going, but sometimes that happens. But like I said, when you're up 15%, set those fucking profit stops. You need to understand, especially when you're trading zero-day options. If you're up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% within a couple of minutes, if those next couple of minutes go against you, you can give back all of that. Just as fast as you made it, you can also give it back. So set the fucking profit stops. Now, with that being said, I can assure you, we are going to be finishing this week very, very strong within the green. If you are serious about trading alongside us, gaining experience with multimillionaires, with traders' decades of experience, surrounding yourself in our secured private organization, gaining access to our zero-day options trading alert system, gaining access to my trade alerts, is going to be the first link down below within the description. Once you click that first link down below in the description, you can sign up instantly and you can gain access to our secured private organization. Inside of our secure private organization, what you are gaining access to is a zero-day options trading alert system led by G-Roar. You're gaining access to my trades within the overall chat as of now, and you are gaining access to the profit section in the community and the network. As you can see within our community, there are many members that are consistently profiting, man. Look at this. Absolutely phenomenal in terms of the gains, man. Crushing it. Look at this. 2% overall return on the account. Nick has been on a fucking tear, man. Every single day, this guy's been making $1,500 to $3,000 on the day for the past 2 fucking months, just crushing it, man. Look at this, $3,600 on the day. He's up over $29,000 trading options, man. We are printing money at the speed of fucking light, winning and winning. What did I tell you about puts, man? Look, fucking puts banked, fucking calls, everything's fucking banking, man. Everything's fucking printing, man. Look at the fucking gains, the fucking results are there. You gain access to our secure private organization. Also, there's going to be a lot of money for those of you who like swing trading on this overall ticker, man. I haven't had a loss yet trading Trump. I'm telling you, man, this is going to be one of those cryptos where it just keeps on fucking spiking. And I'm going to alert it every single fucking time when I see an opportunity to buy, crypto on overall Trump coin, man. Yesterday, I bought this at $10.55 at 8:02 p.m. As soon as I got in, said I was swing trading. As soon as I got in, literally just a couple hours later at 1:25 a.m. next day, it goes to 11:53, and then it shot up to like $12, I think, and then I locked in the vast majority of the gains for like a 12% gain at the speed of fucking light, man. It's like, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of money for those of you who have portfolios where you swing trade to just literally scalp and to also hold Trump coin. It's going to be a phenomenal one where it's just going to keep on having these bounces at these key support fucking levels. Even if it just keeps going down, it's just going to keep on having those key fucking hits. And I know how to hit this one. I've hit it 3 times already this year. That's another strategy that I'm doing when the market's closed. So you need to understand, in terms of our money printers, we find ways to make money non-fucking stop. Everything fucking makes money, man. Crypto fucking makes money. The market's fucking closed. When I post a video, that makes money. That helps build our secure private organization. That makes others trader money and they can learn and trade, grow against us. We have all the fucking money printers and all the fucking money systems. You're going to see, man, you trade and you grow and you learn, you trade, you grow, you learn alongside our community. You're going to level up like fucking crazy. So it's the first link down below in the description. If you want to print with us at the speed of light, make sure you guys are applying the game plans and staying self-sufficient. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow within the chat. I'm headed back to my secure private organization.